Hello everyone and welcome back to Revs and Reviews. Today I have a pretty special SUV here in front of me. Today I'm reviewing the all-new 2026 Honda HRV, this one being your sport trim in this very special blue color. Now I haven't done a Honda review here in a while, but I am finally back here at Honda and I am doing a couple of Honda reviews today. Now this 2026 HRV did get a mild refresh, giving us a better looking front end with a few more styling upgrades here on the front, and we also got new wheels for 2026. Now the color of this vehicle is called Boost Pearl Metallic, or Boost Blue Pearl, excuse me. Now, we do get new 18-inch alloyed wheels down here, which are black, which are nice. And those new wheels do give us that more sporty look instead of last year's version of the sport wheels. Now, with our refresh in the front here, as you can see, not a lot has changed besides the grille design and a little bit more of a matte type of black plastic down here. Now we do have vents on the side down there which are functional and will cool down our tires, which is nice. Now of course the HRV does have the CVT, which not a lot of people are a fan of, but we'll jump into that here in a second. Now we don't get fog lights down there, but we do get these LED projector headlamps with our LED indicators, which is nice. Now of course I really do like the body lines here in the front. I like where the grille is placed. It's better than the old HRV, the previous model year. Now I do like our hood lines across the front here, and I do like our chrome Honda logo. I wish that would have been gloss black, considering there are tons of gloss black accents. Now, of course, special to that sport trim is going to be around our windows here. We have no chrome at all. It's all like this matte plastic, which is black, which is nice. Now, along with that, we do get our black colored mirrors with our indicators in the mirror. Now, they are not power folding, but they are power adjusting, of course. Now, moving along to the back here, we do get a very nice looking rear end here. Now, moving along to the back, of course, this is all-wheel drive. We do get our black little spoiler back here, which is pretty cool. Now, along with that, we have our blacked out HRV badge. We have our chrome Honda badge. Again, if I were to buy this vehicle, I'd probably black out our Honda logos just because it kind of ties in with that sport design. Now, I do like our all-wheel drive badge being stamped in under this windshield wiper here. Although I wish the windshield wiper was tucked underneath here, we still do have the brake light up there. Now, of course, with our taillight design here, we do kind of get a refresh with the taillights here, and we do get kind of an interesting design. So we have a little indicator up here for our turn signal, and then a brake light right here, and there's also these like little dots inside there, which I do like, and I do like the fact that they are LED, which is nice. Now of course we do get some chrome accents down below, which is typical, which I do like the accents down below, and then we have our exhaust tip right over here. Now, the one thing you won't be able to do with this HRV is you're not going to be able to tow with this HRV. Honda does not recommend towing, so you're not going to be able to add a tow hitch or anything from the factory, but obviously you will be able to add your own tow hitch if you do want to risk it by towing with an HRV. Now, enough talking about the exterior here. Let's jump under the hood and see what this Honda HRV has to offer for power. Now, taking a look under the hood of the HRV here, we're not getting anything in particularly special. Now, like I did mention, this does have a CVT transmission, which basically means there's no gears, and it kind of mimics those gears. I mean, it still is a pretty nice transmission to have. Obviously, with Nissan's background and a few other manufacturers, they're not as reliable, but with a Honda, you're getting that extended reliability. Now, underneath the hood here, we're going to get that 2.0 liter engine pushing 158 horsepower, 138 pound-feet of torque, all-wheel drive with 25 in the city and 30 on the highway. Now, of course, with that CVT, it does kind of pair up with the Nissan Kicks. Now, overall, I do like the HRV's design a little bit more than the Nissan Kicks, just because this kind of has more unique colors and a way better looking interior, in my opinion. Now, along with that, I do have to say, I really do like the exterior of the HRV. Now, let's hop inside and go over all the new technology features and see what Honda has to offer with the HRV. Now, moving along to our interior here, we do get a really unique interior here in the HRV that kind of comes from the Civic's design, which I do think is quite nice. Now, moving along to our door panel here, we do have a lot of black plastic, but we also are going to get some leather armrest with that beautiful orange stitching, which you might notice on some of their Trail Sport trim levels. Now, you're not going to be able to get a Trail Sport HRV, but the Sport trim does have that beautiful orange stitching. You have your silver-plated door handle release, and then, of course, you do have your silver-plated window switches with your mirror controls. Now, you do have a pretty small cup holder down below. You obviously won't be able to fit a Stanley cup down there, but obviously you could fit 2 water bottles down there. Now, moving along to our interior here, we are not getting power seats for the driver or passenger. They are manual 8-way adjustable seats. Now, our seats in here are cloth, but they are very comfortable cloth seats, I do have to say. I like that design. We do have like a speckle of white going up and down the seat, and then of course our backs of the seat kind of have this plaid design, which also brings out the comfort. Now, along with that, we're also going to get that orange stitching up and down the seats, which I like. Now, the one thing I would have liked to see would be a sport badge stamped into the seat, but obviously we're not getting that. But I do have to say the seats are pretty comfortable. Now, another thing that is new for 2026 is going to be our little bridge right here. We have a USB-C port on this side and a USB-C port on that side. And then we have a little place where you can put some snacks down there. And then we have our different controls right in the middle down here. Now, along with that, we do have a refreshed infotainment screen and driver display screen. So let's hop inside and go over all the new technology the HRV has to offer. Now, when it comes to the interior of the HRV here, we do have a really simplistic interior here, in which I do really like. Now, moving along to our interior here, we do get a half analog and half digital driver display, which is nice. So our driver display is actually going to be a 7-inch digital display. And then, of course, we're going to get that updated 9-inch infotainment screen, which does offer the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which I do think is a great touch and great feature. Now, starting off with our controls over here, we do get this beautiful leather-wrapped steering wheel. It is not heated, but we do get heated seats in here. I do like the orange stitching, and I do like the fact that we do have that leather-wrapped steering wheel, which is nice. We have our nice horn button right here, and then some gloss black accents. Now, over here, we're only going to have our traction control on and off button. Now, of course, what you can notice is we're not going to get a heads-up display, but we do get that honeycomb air vent system, which I do like. Now, moving into our driver display over here, we do get some great customizations. Now, the first thing I want to start off with is our drive modes. So in this little bridge area, we do have our drive mode selector. So we have normal, which gives us a little cool animation. We have econ, snow, and then if we go back up, I thought there was a sport mode, but we do not get a sport mode. It is just those 3 drive modes. Now, obviously, with the CVT, the econ mode will work pretty well and give you better gas mileage, and that will obviously average 25 in the city and 30 on the highway, which is pretty good. Now, moving along to safety features here, we do get the adaptive cruise control, the lane assist, the traffic jam assist with our adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitors, and then rear cross traffic alert, which I think is great. And then for legroom up front here, we're also going to get 41.9 inches of legroom, which I do think is great. Now, moving along into customizations here, we're not going to be able to customize this side of the screen, but we'll be able to customize this side of the screen. So we have our option to turn off our lane keeping assist, our forward collision warning, and our blind spot monitors. Obviously, we're not going to do that, but if we scroll down here, we can have this on no content, where basically this is just showing us our RPMs. Now, if we scroll again here, and it will kind of have that little gauge to match the other one, which I do think is cool. Now, to move along here, we can hold this down, and we can scroll here. So we'll press the home button. We can adjust the brightness. So if we want to turn up the brightness all the way, we can do that as well. We can go into our vehicle settings, and we can see our TPMS calibration, our driver assistance setup, our meteor settings, and then we can see our key access setup, our lighting setup, our door setup, maintenance reset, and then we can default everything back to the factory. Now, we can change our gauge display settings right here. So we can scroll down, we can have our range and feel on this one, our audio, phone, driver attention, our all-wheel drive and torque, and then basically these are not options we can change because those are preset options. Now we also have our warnings set up, which is basically going to give us the ability to view all of our warnings. We have our range and feel, our speed and time, our audio, phone, driver attention, and then it will go back here. Now, of course, with that, if we go back here, we can adjust the volume with this little switch right here, and then we can skip our songs with that little switch as well. Now, if we go back here, we can go to safety support, and that will basically keep us on our lane keeping assist and driver assist function, which is nice. Now if we press this button, we can turn on our cruise control, and then we can also turn on our adaptive cruise control with our lane assist. Now you will be able to do a gap adjust where you want to be like more further away from the vehicle in front of you or closer to the vehicle in front of you. Now with the stop and go system, that does mean that basically the vehicle will be able to stop itself like at a red light. If there's a vehicle in front of you that stopped at the red light, the vehicle won't stop at a red light by itself if there's not a car in front of you that's already stopped, but it will basically follow the car in front of you. It will follow the car in front of you's like braking features and everything else like that, which I do think is nice. Now, along with that, this screen does do an animation when you hop in the vehicle, of course, which I do think is quite cool. Now, along with that, we do get those customization features, which I like. Now, obviously, we can have this on no content, safety support, and then we can have it on our seat belts, and then our all-wheel drive distribution, which is nice. Then we also can have that on our driver safety, and then it'll basically tell us when we need to take a break. We can also have that on our audio, and then we can also have that on our speed and time and like trip. We can also have that on range and feel settings, and then we can go back to our display setup here, and we can kind of just adjust what we all want to see here, which I do think is great. Now, along with this, we are also going to get the ability to, that safety support will basically tell us who's in our blind spot monitors, but our blind spot monitors also do light up, which is a great feature to have as well. Now, of course, we have our turn signal stalk over here, which is nice, and then we have it over here as well, and then our windshield wipers over here, which is nice. Now, we also do have the ability to move the cruise control speed right here, and then that will also adapt when you do have that car in front of you or if the car in front of you is stopping, which is nice. Now, there is a fly in here, so I'm just going to roll down the window and we're going to get that out of here. I actually think that was a bee. Alright, now moving along to our infotainment screen over here, we do get some great upgrades with this as well. So starting, we do have our heated seat button, which is right down here. You cannot option this out with ventilated seats. Now when we pop it into reverse here, we'll obviously have our parking sensors. We can also see different views of our rear view camera here. So we can see like an overhead view of like what we're going to run into. We can see a more of an angled view, or we can see like that full 360 view, which is nice. Now, along with that right here, we can have our trajectory on and off, and then we can also have this on like a brightness type of thing, and it will tell us to check our surroundings as well, which is nice. Now, when we pop it back into park here, the backup camera will disappear here. Now, the upgrade with our interior here is going to be the fact that we do get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is a huge upgrade from obviously plugging in your phone. Now, we also do get our AM/FM radio with our Sirius XM, which is nice. Now, what's new is we also do have that standard volume button. We do have our connect device button over here and our home button. Now, that is new for 2026 because of the fact that we do get those two new buttons right there. Now, even though this is only a 9-inch display, it does feel bigger because it is like that iPad style screen here. Now, we can use this functional screen over here. So we have our radio settings right here. Now, that little click noise that you hear is going to be our radio setting. Basically, when you tap something, it will click a little bit, which is nice. Now, we can also adjust everything here, and we can slide over to have all of our different presets. Now, it obviously is a pretty responsive screen, which is nice. Now, we can also turn that to AM, FM, Bluetooth audio. So if we want to go to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, we can do that as well. And then we can press our home button as well. Now, as far as like settings and stuff, we press our settings here. We have our system settings, our connection, display, sound, and then we have our volume, settings as well. Now, as far as like customizations for this screen, there's not really a lot of customizations, I will have to say. Now, obviously we have these standard widgets, and then when you go into Apple CarPlay, it will switch to an Apple CarPlay screen. But I do have to say, if you are an older person, it is definitely very easy to use, including if you do want to connect your phone to like the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It's very responsive and it is very easy to use, which is nice. Now, along with that, I do have to say it is a very responsive screen, in which I like, and if you do need a software update, obviously Honda will do that for free for you, which is nice. Now, we do have our hazard button right down here, which is nice. I do like how it is conveniently placed. And then of course we can open and close our vents from right here as well. Now, along with that, if we move down here, we do have a wireless charging pad, which is standard on all 2026 models, which is a part of that refresh as well. Now, the refresh with the HRV, excuse me, is going to be our wheels, of course, and then that new little bit of a front end design. And then of course with that, we are getting the standard wireless charger, and then our infotainment upgrade, which is basically giving us the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Now, along with that, we have the 2 USB-C ports, we have our wireless charging pad, 2 cup holders, which is nice, and I do like how the cup holders are up here where it's not like all the way back here, which is nice. Now, we have our gear selector right down here, we have our drive modes, our downhill descent, we have our parking brake, and then we also have brake hold. So brake hold will basically mean the vehicle will stay put at the stoplight for you as well. And then we also have a USB-C port over here and a USB-C port over here, and a little storage cubby down here, which is also really nice. Now, along with that, I do have to say I really do like the interior of the HRV here, and I also do have to say, even though we don't have a sunroof, we do have a black headliner, which kind of brings out that nice cool vibe with the sport trim. Now, overall, I have plenty of legroom up here for a 6-foot-tall person, and there's plenty of great tech up here and great safety features. And obviously with Honda's reliability, you also are going to be able to have the ability not to worry about maintaining the vehicle, obviously, as far as like major stuff, but obviously minor stuff like oil changes and transmission flushes and all that. That is all your standard maintenance, which is nice. So you really won't have to worry if you are driving a Honda, because of the fact that they are super reliable. Now let's hop into the back seats and see if our 37.7 inches of legroom is enough for a 6-foot-tall person. Now, moving along to our rear seats here, the one thing that I don't really like is the fact that our door doesn't open like a full 90-degree angle, but it still does open quite a ways to where you could fit 2 car seats back here. Now, moving along back here, we do not have 2 cup holders in the middle, but we do have those same cloth seats back here. These ones in the rear are not heated or ventilated, obviously, but we do got that nice plaid design with our orange stitching design, which is nice. And then we have our lower latch anchors with our top tethers, which is nice. And then of course back here, we are not going to get any AC vents, just because this is the sport trim and not your top of the line EXL trim. But with our door panel, we're getting that same type of door panel, our orange stitching, a 1 bottle cup holder, which is nice, and then that flat black plastic, which is also quite nice. And then our silver plated door handle, and then our window switch as well. Now let's hop back here and see if I can fit comfortably back here as a 6-foot-tall person. Now, moving along to our rear seats here, this one is pushed up quite a ways. Now, I did have to move my driver position up just a little bit. That way I would be able to fit back here a little bit more comfortable. But I do have to say, we don't get a pocket on this side, but we get plenty of legroom back here, tons of headroom. Those LED lights do bring out that nice, luxurious type of vibe. And then, of course, we do have this little change compartment down here. No chargers back here either, because this is a sport trim. I do believe on the EXL trim, you will get chargers and rear AC vents, so just something to keep in mind. But honestly, I would ride back here on a longer road trip. Now, honestly, I also do have to say this would be a very comfortable vehicle and reliable vehicle to take on a road trip, which I do think is nice as well. Now let's hop into the cargo area and see how much junk we can fit in the trunk. Moving along to our cargo area here, the one thing we're not going to get is going to be a power lift gate. But we do have this pretty lightweight lift gate back here, so it's not going to be a struggle if you are an older person or struggle to like open a lift gate or anything. But moving along back here, we do have a great amount of cargo space back here. I did forget to mention we also do get our carpeted floor mats. Now you can obviously add all-weather floor mats. Now moving along back here, we do have a great amount of cargo space with our 60-40 split seats, giving us 24.4 cubic feet of space with the seats up, and with the seats down about 55.1 cubic feet of space, which I also do think is quite a lot, considering that this vehicle is the smaller SUV in Honda's lineup. Now overall, I do have to say we do get that great amount of cargo space. Now to fold the seats down here, we do have a little lever over here to push those seats flat down, which is nice. And since they are the 60-40 split, it does give us more room, which is nice. Now to close the lift gate, we just use this little handle here, and it will go down nice and quick for us, because obviously we do have to manually fold it down. But that's all right, because honestly, why do you need a power lift gate if this vehicle is a smaller SUV and does have a lot of cargo room? Now overall, let's go over my honest opinions on the new 2026 Honda's HRV. Now, overall, I do have to say, for Honda's reliability background, the beautiful design of this HRV, and the price point, which actually isn't too bad, this one's just priced under $30,000. So I gotta say, it's a brand new vehicle, it's all-wheel drive, it's an SUV, so what much more could you ask for, including with all the new tech features on the inside, this beautiful pearl color, this blue pearl color, which is nice. And I do have to say, for $30,000, you're actually getting a lot of safety features. Now, obviously, this goes head-to-head with the Nissan Kicks, of course, which is new for 2025 and 2026. But I gotta say, I would honestly take the 2026 HRV over that. Now, honestly, let me know your honest opinions down in the comments down below. Would you take a 2026 Honda HRV? Because I sure would. Now, of course, before I end the review, a huge shout out to Morrie's West Bend Honda for letting me come out and review this beautiful 2026 Honda HRV in this beautiful blue color. Now, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you guys in the next review.